What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess Barney and this is the Barney Homestead. I have got a really exciting series of videos for you that's going to start today and is going to follow through with 2 or 3 additional parts later on in the growing season. But today, for the first video, as you can probably tell by the title, it's going to be all about peppers and the idea of pepper topping or pepper pinching. And today I'm going to talk to you about a couple of the reasons why this is done, when you should do it, what is the reasoning for it, give you a little bit of the background into the research that I've done myself. And then the second part of the video is going to be showing you how I'm going to do this on a couple of the pepper plants that I have. So number one, what is pepper topping or pepper pinching? Well, it's basically when you take your pepper plant and you snip off the growing tip or the top part of the plant. Number two, why is this done? Why would someone want to cut off the top part of their pepper plant? Well, most suggest in the research that I've done, or the reasons why you would want to do this, is because it's going to lead to an increased yield of the fruits that your plant produces. Some also suggest that while you may get an increase in the yield or the number of fruits that your plant produces, it sometimes can or may lead to smaller size fruits. So we'll see what ends up happening throughout this series. If I, number one, get more fruit, or number two, if the size looks different from the plants that I top versus the plants that I don't top. Number three, what types of pepper plants should you top? You can top any type of pepper plant. You can also top none of your pepper plants. This is a totally optional method, and I want to make that clear. And I myself have never done this before this season. So I'm going to try it, and we're going to learn together through this series of videos what the results are in my backyard garden. The types of pepper plants that it typically is suggested through the research that I've done that you would want to top or pinch are your smaller producing fruit pepper plants. So think jalapenos, shishito peppers, sweet peppers. So your bell peppers probably are not the best ones to do, but I'm going to do both. So I'm going to do bell peppers along with some smaller peppers as well. And the reason why it's suggested to stick to smaller type pepper plants is because as you do this method, you're going to get a bushier and larger plant that has more outer stems that produce more fruit. That's the idea. And so if you think about the size of a bell pepper versus the size of a jalapeno, a pepper plant is going to be more able to support the weight of additional fruit from a jalapeno versus additional fruit from a bell pepper. It's a larger, heavier fruit. And so your plant may have trouble without additional support keeping itself upright in the garden. Number 4, when should you pinch or top your pepper plants? So in the research that I've done, I have read and learned that it's ideal to do this when your plant has anywhere between 5 and 8 true leaves. Or another kind of measurement I've seen to determine when is the appropriate time is when your plant has reached 6 to 12 inches in height. So I'm going to do it based off of the leaf method today because that's about where all of my plants are. The other piece of timing that you would want to think about when you're going to do this method is where you're at in the process of transplanting your pepper plants. So in theory, in my head, when I think about this, when you are snipping off the top part of the plant, that's going to probably cause a little bit of stress on your pepper plant. And it's not stress that they can't recover from, but it is a little bit of stress. And so I'm going to be doing this about 4 to 6 days before I actually transplant them into their permanent homes in my raised garden bed. And the reason for that is because I don't want to shock my plant with topping it and then also putting it into a new environment within a span of 24 to 48 hours. Now, I've also, through my research and the videos that I've watched, people have said that you can do this a week or two before you go ahead and transplant them. But I personally what makes the most logical sense in my head is probably not doing it the same day or within 24 to 48 hours of transplanting them. I don't know that for a fact, but that would just be my guess, to minimize the amount of stress and change that the plant is going through at once. So now I am actually going to top a couple of my pepper plants. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I have got 3 different variety of peppers that I'm growing in my garden this year. I always do some sort of bell pepper. So this year I have the California Wonder bell pepper by Baker Creek. I do a jalapeno, so I have Craig's Grande jalapeno from Baker Creek as well. And then the third one I have is a sweet banana pepper that I just got at my local hardware store about a week ago. So my peppers have been hardening off for a couple days outside, and they still have about 4 to 6 days to go. So again, those are going to be the ones that I top today, and I'm going to do 2 of each type and plant another 2 or 3 non-topped ones, and the later videos in this series will show you the difference between how the ones that were topped or pinched are doing compared to the ones I didn't do that to. Got my scissors, my garden shears, and here is my California Wonder bell pepper. So again, as I said, you probably want the plant to have, at least in the research I've done, anywhere between 5 and 8 true leaves. So if I count up, these are not the true leaves, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to snip right above that 6th leaf. So that is the top that I cut off. And it actually already had the beginnings of some flowers on it. So again, we'll kind of see what happens. But now you can see I've got that blunt tip. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves. And what's going to happen is that in the little armpit of the plant, you're going to start to get additional growth. And so this plant should bush out more, and all of that additional growth will create more fruiting flowers. So my next one here, I've got my jalapeno. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna leave 7 true leaves on this one and snip off the top. I'll be honest, I'm having a little bit of anxiety right now thinking about how this is gonna turn out, but I'm gonna hope for the best. So then I've got 6 leaves left on my jalapeno plant. So now I've got 2 plants right now, 1 of each, that have been topped off. All right guys, so that is part 1 of this series on pepper topping or pepper pinching, whatever your preferred word is. Let me know in the comments down below if you have ever tried this method and what your results have been. If you haven't tried it and you want to try it with me, would love to see your updates as we continue to go along. I will do part 2 of this series probably in about 30 days. So after they've been transplanted and have been in the raised bed for a little while. However, I do also have an Instagram account where I feature some little updates on my garden throughout the week. So I will post some updates there throughout the next 30 days, just to kind of show some snapshots of what is happening. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And before you leave, if you could please subscribe to my channel so you never miss an additional garden update from the Barney Homestead. Play in the dirt, go spend time in your garden, and have a great day. Bye guys.